the San Francisco quarterback woes from start to finish. And at the time, we didn't know. We knew that Brock Purdy was hurt. We didn't really know that it was his UCL, what have you. This kind of begs the question from me, like, if you have to go to your fourth string quarterback, like, I get that there's, like, everyone gets hurt. People get unlucky. You know, you have games where, like, you lose a lot of people. But it's like, have we ever seen this in the NFL? And, like, does this kind of maybe tie into how Kyle Shanahan, like, play calls for quarterback safety? Like, I don't know.
What the fuck is going on over there? Like, it's
I don't know.
Is it just a weird coincidence, which is like probably the way that I'm leaning, but it's crazy to get to this point. Like, Jimmy G, fine, you're gonna have Trey Lance, then Trey Lance gets hurt, then we have Jimmy G, then you have Jimmy G get hurt, then Brock Purdy, who is like quite literally Mr. Irrelevant. For him to get hurt in that game is insane. Like, maybe the NFL is scripted, because I don't think you can make that like that's fucking crazy. I mean, there has to be something that is going on. How is that even possible? How do you go through that many quarterbacks?
And then, like, is it Josh Johnson?
For him to get hurt, I was just about to say, like, for him to then go in, then you put Purdy back in.
Well, he was in concussion protocol too, and they had Christian McCaffrey fucking taking snaps for a minute.
And then what's the game plan there? Because if you can win that game, like, are you just gonna fucking get Christian McCaffrey hurt? Like, what are we doing here?
I don't know. But obviously with, like, the Brady news, because he was one of the guys to potentially be rumored to go to San Francisco, because you have Trey Lance on a rookie deal, Jimmy G's gone, and you have Brock Purdy on a rookie deal. Josh Johnson, obviously, he's been with, like, what, 14 NFL teams, I think they said on the broadcast.
He's a homie hopper.
But it's like, now you have two, and it's Brock Purdy, who has a torn UCL, and you have Trey Lance, who's also coming back from a fucking nasty injury recovery. How do you not try and find a vet? Like, do you try and find a vet? Who do you roll with in that situation? Like, I truly do not know.
They probably go and sign, like, a random one of the random free agent quarterbacks that are out there. Like,
I think it's Carson Wentz. I think it's
Bridgewater. Maybe you sign this in, but I think that they just let the two of them duel it out. But Trey Lance ultimately probably ends up getting the job as much as, like, Brock Purdy has our hearts. But I think that, again, like, everyone's so easy to knock Trey Lance. He really didn't get that much time. Like, he got hurt very early on. Like, there wasn't an opportunity to develop at all. And unfortunately for franchises that have been quite spoiled in the past, like, you haven't seen your team go through, like, a hard times like a lot of franchises have. It's gonna take time. Like, Trey Lance is, like, it's not gonna be an overnight thing. Like, maybe you guys don't win a lot of games next year. I think, like the Steelers, for example, that team hasn't, like, not the last time that team came in fourth place in the AFC North is, like, 1999. Like, most of their seasons literally were not even.
Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season in his career.
Literally, like, they don't know. And I think the 49ers in some ways are also another one of those fan bases where you've had a lot of success in your franchise. You've also never gotten to, like, a deep, horrible point. So I think that, like, 49ers are just gonna have to buckle up. You're lucky you have a really great defense. There's also so many pieces on offense. So, like, Trey Lance just needs a minute. So I think they'll have Purdy, and maybe we see them, like, competing in training camp, and then maybe I don't know.
Well, so my thing, I obviously don't believe in the cap because I think the cap's fake.
It is fake.
But there are rumors that Aaron Rodgers, like, wants to. I don't think it's a rumor that he wants to be out of Green Bay, but it's like he could be looking at other places if they're willing to deal him. And it's like, he's from the area. That team is already loaded. If you put Aaron Rodgers on that team, it's kind of a guaranteed Super Bowl, in my opinion. And if it's not, that's fucking embarrassing as fuck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't believe in the cap. How do you get him there on a 1 or 2 year deal, win a Super Bowl, and retire on top? You know what I mean?
That's the direction. And then, because I feel like that's a great landing spot for him. The other place, like, that would come to mind is, like, maybe the Jets. But I feel like the 49ers can do it in a way more responsible way than the Jets can. Like, the Jets are going to do something stupid to acquire him. Whereas like, the 49ers could do it in, like, a somewhat, ignoring what they did to get Trey Lance, but, like, I think they could do it in a way that's not as, like, silly goosey as, like, the Jets.
Yeah. I'm just not sure that he would leave us, like, I think that the Jets have a better defense, but the situation in Green Bay on offense isn't that much of like a jump for me, for him to like feel secure and like, hey, I can win here before I like go out, for him to do that, in my opinion.
Is like, I would love that. Wow.
I think that I would hate it because he bothers me, but I would be happy for everyone else on that team.
Yes, he's very irritating. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, he does bug me a lot, but
yeah.
He is. I don't know. The 49ers are a team. Like, they will make a move for a quarterback if they want to. If, like, direction they're gonna go.
Yeah. So not to not give the Eagles their flowers because they deserve them. I had in here to ask you if you feel like if Jimmy G played in this game healthy, do you think that it would have been a better game than it was? Because I don't.
You don't? Okay.
I think it would have been closer, but I think the Eagles still kind of.
I still think the Eagles would have won, but I think it would have been much closer. Honestly, it's crazy that we're going to get to the point where, like, I think the Eagles are fantastic, but like, they're going to get to Kansas City and it's like one of the best competitors that they're going to have seen like almost the entire season. And that's nothing to knock the Eagles. It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's still, the Eagles still would have came up on top. Like, they're just functioning in a way that like any team would desire to. It's working across the board. I mean, you look at the stats though, like, it's crazy that they dominated that way. Like, they were able to do that, and Jalen only had like 120 passing yards. Devontae Smith was their top receiver. He only had like, I think it was like 30 something, and Gainwell was their top rusher with like 38 yards. So it's like they didn't like dominate either. So it's crazy that the score looked like that, but you can't do shit when like the San Francisco's defense was so fucking tired by the end of it. But Eagles still, they're that team. They're it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I do like Kansas City better in this matchup, but they are fucking hurt. Like, they're hurt. Like, I have some notes about Mahomes in a second, and we can talk about the Super Bowl, but it's like, I don't know, man. I think that they are, I'm worried for them just from like a health and safety perspective, like getting guys out on the field to be able to play a game, because I'm looking at the injury report right now. And Mahomes isn't on here for February 1st, which I mean, I guess he's going to play no matter what. Like, what's the point of even trying to play chess or checkers about it?
Right.
But Willie Gay's on here. L'Jarius Sneed's on here. McCole Hardman's on here. Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster, Trey Smith. Obviously, Edwards-Helaire's on injury reserve. And it's just like, that's a lot of people. Like, and a lot of your weapons. And your number one weapon in Patrick Mahomes is already hurt. And it's like, you wouldn't be able to tell that from last week's game, the way that he played, but like, it is what it is. So we can talk about the AFC Championship game now. I think that he was an absolute dog in that game. There were plays that he took off on where I was like, holy fucking shit, like, how is he doing this? I know that he is like shot the fuck up with drugs right now, but oh my God.
I honestly, and I'm going to be honest, like, this is just me being admittedly, Mahomes annoyed me until this game. Like, I was just bothered by, and it might be just like the way the media treats him, the way any commentator treats him. Like, I think it's just, and I don't think it's his fault. Like,
no, it's not his fault, but it's a problem.
Like, it just is, something about it always aggravated me. And then it almost like, then people are starting to downplay like what Brady did. And it's like, Mahomes just got here. Like, he hasn't been around as long as everyone acts. But this game, I'm like, dude, this guy just fucking loves football and he will do whatever it takes to win. Like, I gained so much respect. You can see him wincing in pain. He could barely put pressure on it. By the end of the game, he's like walking on one foot to get to the sideline. Like, and he's fighting with everything. And everyone like talks so much shit. Like, oh, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. It's like, no, he figures it out. Then you see MVS looking like a stud. Like, he gets the job done, and it's incredible.
I do agree with your point, and it's like I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it because for the majority of what people consume, and I am so guilty of this, is, you know, we consume the big shows on ESPN, sometimes like NFL Network, and you consume the commentary from games. The way that people talk about Patrick Mahomes really bothers me. Chris Collinsworth specifically bothers me. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I totally understand he's the best quarterback in the league right now. I agree with you. But it's like, you're right. They do think they people are already like calling him the GOAT over Brady. Like, he's won like they're on their way to 2, and it's like they can't keep this squad together forever. Yes, he's fucking fantastic, but you're putting your cart way before your horse here, and it is really annoying. Like, you are so spot on. It's so fucking annoying the way that they baby the shit out of him sometimes on the broadcast. And you're right, it's not his fault. But because they are all so fucking obsessed with him and in love with him and just whatever, it makes me hate him. And so do Brittany and Jackson. I'm sorry, but they do. And it's like, I think Patrick Mahomes is funny. I think he's great. He's the best player in the league right now, in my opinion. But the way that like his family and people talk about him makes him the least likable person.
He's just not likable. But then like you hear him do stuff and you're like, you're really not that bad, which
no.
The reason I dislike you is because of something totally different. Like,
yeah.
And that's a shame that that's happening right now. Like, we can't just like and part of that is because the quarterback play across the league is just not great right now. Like, it's some of the worst that we've seen probably in our life. It's just not good, like across the board. But like he's a great and I know that. And it's also me not like downplaying how fantastic he is, because I very much recognize that he is going to be a Hall of Famer. Like,
oh my God, he already is. Yeah.
Like, he is one, right? But it's like, God, the way that everyone talks about him, it's like enough is enough. And then fans start getting whiny. Like, you'll know this from your own family. It's like, we want the next Patrick Mahomes. Nah, like, shut up. You can't get one of those because there's only one. Like,
yeah. Well, it's also like, I will say Brittany Mahomes Cancun in 3 was funny.
It was funny. It was funny.
It was funny. But like, I loved him before she ever started talking or existed on the internet. Like, do you remember when he like first got drafted and that whole thing about him and ketchup went around?
Yes.
That was awesome.
And you're like, you're so likable.
That was awesome.
Who like, gave your wife a camera?
Or your brother?
Oh my God, Jackson.
The video of them celebrating after this game is just like, and they were so quiet all season, and I started to like him again. You know, I was like, good for him. You got them to shut up, you know, whatever. Like, I don't care what it is. And I hate to be a woman who's bashing women, but I'm sorry, she sucks.
She does suck. She really does. And the thing is, like, and I shouldn't assume this, but it just like feels like she's well aware of it, and now she's just feeding into it. Like, it's not, she has no self-awareness to be like, oh, and you don't need to like yell that loud. Like, I feel like there's ways to support someone without like it being.
The champagne is what sent me over the edge.
It's just inappropriate. And it's like she has this, that gave me such like I'm better than you vibes. And I just don't fuck with that ever. Like, we are all people. We're all at the same level. Like, I don't give
whether you have a kid or not. Like,
we're all people. Do not spray champagne on people. Who do you think?
No, and it's like, I love the people who were like, well, if your team won, you would be like, you would consent to champagne being sprayed on you. I was like, it was 9 degrees. No.
No, I definitely would not. I don't care how happy I am. No.
Especially because like I wear so much vintage gear to Jags games and stuff. I'd kill someone. I'd kill someone.
I'm pissed.
But yeah, like when he was like little ketchup boy up on the scene, I loved him.
We love ketchup boy. We
love ketchup boy. So a lot of the other conversation surrounding this game was, I mean, you know what? The refereeing, a lot of the conversation around the postseason has been refereeing, but I will go out. I don't even know if this is going out on a limb, but I will say the entire season, the refereeing was absolute fucking dog shit from this league. Piss poor. I don't feel like they did anything to fix it, and it felt like it got worse as the season went on. And it did, in fact, ruin a lot of people's seasons, and I'm not going to pretend like it didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, 100%. And then it's like, you look at this game, right? And I do think that the officiating was like mind blowing. It gets you to a point where you can turn into one of those people. Like, for a second, I was like, oh my God, all these crazy people are right. The NFL is rigged. They're right. There are like, you get to a point where like, oh my God, is this actually like scripted? Because it's starting to feel that way. The Bengals had multiple opportunities that they did not take.
Yep.
100%. They still lost that game with or without some of those.
Agree. Yes.
But
that last call was tough.
I know.
It's just like, I get that you can look back at all of these missed opportunities, but I don't think it takes away the sting of your season ending on a call like that. Do I think, in a I don't know, dude.
Some of them were like, and that was, I think that was the first game that it was so many. Like there were like 4 really bad game-changing calls. And I can only recall like from the Giants, like from my fandom, like I can probably name like on like one hand all the calls I can be like, we lost this game because of the officiating. Like there hasn't been many, but to have like 4 in one game is fucking crazy. Like that's I feel bad. And the Bengals shouldn't have talked so much though. Like just you guys should have just shut up.
The Burrowhead stuff was wild.
It's getting corny a little bit.
It is. Travis Kelce screaming after like the game was also corny though.
I agree. I think that everyone's thinking that was so fun. I actually don't find that funny. I think it's way cooler to just be like, you can do like a subtle comment, but not.
Yeah. He just kept going, and it's like disrespectful to the broadcast crew and like the people trying to like to consume that content at home. And it's like, if you're being interviewed, sure, do whatever. But like when he was walking in front of Patrick Mahomes getting interviewed, and then when they were up on stage and he decided to like scream into the microphone and stuff, it's like you're just being obnoxious for the sake of being obnoxious.
He also like you're coming off as if, did you go and chug a handle before you like started? Like he was acting almost like that's like what a drunk guy does. It's like that behavior was just like totally just out of pocket from like, I get it. It's funny. Like I definitely would have taken a jab too, but again, there's a way to do that. What is Patrick Mahomes just surrounded by people that want to scream? Like,
I don't know.
You need to blink if you're need help.
Yeah. And it's like, you and I are both the most pro like spicy media people ever. Like I wish people would swear on broadcast. I wish they'd keep the nats the same and not cut things. Like sports are sports, whether how you consume them, whatever. But like when you grab the microphone and you scream Burrowhead my ass, it's just kind of like, at least when you turn on certain things, it's I don't know. It felt disrespectful to the crew. It felt annoying. It felt like boy pick me vibes. I don't know.
And also I'm not gonna get over the fact. Do you remember when that the new stuff came out that like he used to like make his girlfriend like pay for every like half of dinners and like half of the rent and half of everything, and like she was
a teacher.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm here to like split things, but like also you're and not that you shouldn't. I'm all about like being in like pay for yourself, do it, but like to some extent, it's like I mean, like she doesn't need to split the bill every 20.
No, well, like the thing that pissed me off about that, and I don't know this to be true. I don't know the relationship. I don't know anything. It's just based off of what I heard. And if what I heard is true, and everything you read on the internet is 100% fact. Yeah. I did read that she was like a teacher and she broke up with him because he was expecting her to pay for like vacations and dinners and like stuff like that he wanted to do because he could afford it. And she obviously couldn't. And it's like, if you wanted to like go to fucking Waffle House and the movies and like something like that, I'm 1000%, if I'm a teacher, to share things with you, fine. But if you're an NFL player and you want to go to fucking Nobu and Turks and Caicos on the weekends, no. Sorry, why are you dating me?
Find someone that can afford that stuff then. That's at the same like pay grade as you.
100%.
Like, a level that doesn't, and it's like fine for your partner to make like more money than you to make less, but then like you should be splitting things like 40, 60, 70, 30, whatever like the deal is. I don't know. I just think that's not.
Yeah. 100%. And if it's true that she broke up with him for that, good for fucking her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like good for her. But like I wish that I had more to say about Kansas City. It just felt like every single time something went in their favor, it immediately just like something made it fall flat, and they got so deflated that they just, when it came down to like make plays when they had to on like third downs or whatever, they just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I lean Kansas City for the Super Bowl. Like I do, which is so shocking because I feel like I have been so low on Patrick Mahomes just because of everything that we just talked about, which is so stupid. But their injuries really definitely are a problem. And I think the Eagles are a team where like they're going to lean into that, which I don't love. Like,
yeah.
They're the team that's like, your ankle's hurting you.
Yeah. Let me, step on it in the pile.
Exactly.
I love the Dirty Birds.
You do. God.
I do.
straight up cannot, though.
I know you can't. I'm cheering for the Eagles in the Super Bowl, but I think the Chiefs are gonna win. I just love the city of Philadelphia, and I think their fans are just so funny. Did you see the girl who was like jumping on like some sort of structure and like fell and broke her neck doing it because it like fell down? So like I don't think she broke her neck. I don't know, but she was in like like something very tragic happened to her neck, and she was like in a brace because she was like going too crazy.
Okay, I'll tell you because I went to the link for the Giants-Eagles game.
I've been to the link. It's wild.
That was the first time I had been there. And I think part of it, like I forgot my Giants jacket that I usually wear at a game. So I think that this saved me a little bit as I had to walk to Macy's and the only jacket I could buy was like a black one, which was fine. I had a really good time. Like even everyone that knew I was a Giants fan was super nice to me. Like I did not, it was fun. Like, and they have a nice stadium. Like definitely was there people like talking shit? Absolutely. But you're going to get that in most stadiums.
Anywhere.
So I like where I draw the line is like, if people are with children, like that's where I don't think it's cool.
I think the intimidation is where I draw the line. If you try to like intimidate me with your fandom, that's where I'm like, you're fucked up.
Yeah, I don't need you. I agree. Or when it starts coming down like very like degrading, I'm like, we need to chill out. We're both like sports.
Name 5 players from the 1984 Giants team, Stephanie.
What was Eli's cousin's aunt's mom's sister's brother? Like, I don't
name 5 brothers.
Yeah, like, like I'm done with that. But I will say I had a good time in Philadelphia, so I can't talk too much shit. I do get. And they've been good too. Like when you're
fucking love Philly. It's like one of my favorite cities. People hate it, but I fucking ride with Philly.
I had a really good time there. And I was like really upset because I was expecting to go there and be like, this is gonna be awful. But I like had a good time. And I always had to have a good time in Philly. Like I used to go there. Yeah. It is a kind of
it's awesome. It's so fun. It's so fun. That's why I didn't go to Kansas City though, is because 1, the weather was disgusting. 2, I felt like we were gonna lose. And 3, even if I felt like we were going to lose, I've traveled thousands of miles across the country multiple times to watch the Jaguars fucking blow wiener. But like if it were somewhere fun, like if I were going to LA or Vegas or New York or like something like that, fine. I'm not going to get on a flight, pay for a flight, pay for a hotel room, pay for tickets to go eat shitty barbecue in Kansas City. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. And they do have some good barbecue. I will say their barbecue's good. Okay. But like,
I've never been there. I just found out like, and garbage. I swear to God that I am like, I would consider myself like a decently smart. I didn't know that was in fucking Missouri at all until like recently.
Yeah, they really think that's where they get you. Was it my tweet that I was like, you
were the one that you're the wait, hold on. I totally forgot. You're the reason I figured that out too. Had you not tweeted that, I would have had no fucking idea. Here I am. I would have been like booking a flight to like wherever and then being like, what the fuck is going on?
Kansas City, Kansas. That's what people kept saying too. They were like, well, there is a Kansas City, Kansas. And I was like, yeah, but the Kansas City Chiefs play in fucking Missouri, you weirdos.
So weird. It's bizarre and they trick you. And I don't love that.
It's giving the Iceland, Greenland thing for me.
Yes, it is. Very much so. And that's also bullshit. Both are bullshit. Just let things just make sense. Like it's something so complicated as.
I think I might send a strongly worded email to get the names of Iceland and Greenland switched to what they should be.
I'll sign off on it too, because I'm like all in support of that. Like and it's like some, things that like live rent free in your head for no reason. Like I think about it a lot.